Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy Monday. Happy New Week. Happy mid-month of January. I hope everyone's doing well. Hello, Michael. I hope you had a really rested weekend. Good to see you.
Well, it was somewhat rested.
Well, everyone, appreciate you showing up here. You've been here. That's awesome. I wanted to actually take this opportunity to just briefly say thank you, everyone who sent out messages, texts, and all that stuff to say happy birthday to me. It was a very, very special day to actually being there with everyone, and appreciate you very much. So today, Michael and I are getting together again on Monday, and we're just having a lot of fun. So, hi everyone, welcome to Michael William Ames and Julie Nguyen discussion. My name is Julie. I'm coming from California. Michael, please say hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday to all of you out there. Monday's always a great day.
Always a great day. Absolutely. Thank you, Michael. As we are traveling on this journey of OnPassive, there are so many information that we get to receive. And in turns, we know what's going on in OnPassive. And so today, Michael and I want to discuss the topic called In the Know of OnPassive. And we want you to also kind of refresh your memory at first, but also wanted to lead you or guide you to or remind you to also focus on what we know. And one of the things that I love so much when Susie McCrae said this to Mr. Ash Mufareh in one of the meetings, she said, I know, love, and trust OnPassive and Ash Mufareh. And to be honest with you, I do too. I am completely know and 100% love and trust Mr. Ash Mufareh and OnPassive. And so today, Michael and I'm very sure Michael also resonate with that statement from Susie as well. Am I right, Michael?
Absolutely, 100%.
That's right. That's right. I know I didn't need to ask, but I know that you are 100% that know, love, and trust. And so what we are doing today is discussing with each other about what we know, what we already know. And a lot of these, what we are sharing with you today is basically have happened in 2023. I think 2023 was a major year. And we see so many things happen. And boy, guys, I'm telling you, I have a list of things that are going on. So the first things I want to talk about is we do know that OnPassive has physical business location in the US, in Dubai, in Singapore, and in Egypt. Right, Michael? Those are those physical locations. I'm very sure there are other locations or there are things that are still going on that we have a note about. So what we do is focusing on what we know so far. Am I right, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. We certainly know of those places, and that basically, speaks of the reality, of the realness of our company. It's not just a company that is on the internet. It actually has physical offices that people can actually show up at, and we know some have, especially in the U.S. and India. It's that's a good thing. That's a good thing when you're looking at a company to call your home.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big buzz in 2023 is when OnPassive launched the offices in the Burj Khalifa. We know for sure for the fact that we do own 2 floors in the highest building in Dubai, which is the Burj Khalifa. And we also know that in the past, in 2023, we have launched 17 shows on that building, on that Burj Khalifa. And those shows are fantastic shows that our marketing team are putting together. We also know that we also have the show that's called In the Ain, or we call it the Eye of Dubai, which is like the big Ferris wheel. And why do we pick those locations, Michael? If you could let's talk about it. And
Well,
obviously, on your own opinion, right?
sure. Well, I mean, we know that Dubai is like a futuristic city, if you wish, right? Everyone wants to go to Dubai. All the big corporations are in Dubai. So if you want to be relevant, you certainly want to be there as a company. A lot of visitors pass through there from around the globe. So why not have a central hub where you can brand your business? That's why we have the shows that you mentioned on the Burj Khalifa. That's why we're seen all over Dubai, in the Dubai Mall, on the strips, etc. Because it's a lot of visibility. You're getting a lot of visibility, and these individuals that come year round, they take whether it be from a subliminal standpoint, meaning they don't necessarily register with them from a conscious standpoint, but subconsciously it does register. Anything you see is always registered subconsciously, right? So people take that image back to wherever they're coming from. So as people start to share the word about On Passive, where people can get a one-stop shop for everything they need on the internet, it now becomes familiar to them. Oh yeah, I remember when I was in Dubai, I saw this, right? And so on. So the company made a strategic decision to say, okay, this is where we're going to focus our branding on, because it's going to reach, around the globe, and so that certainly is a good thing. But there's more to it, Julie, but I think that suffice for people to get a good understanding as to why it makes sense that you want to be part of Dubai. Some shape or form, you want to be part of Dubai. And this is what our company has done.
Absolutely. And also the Burj Khalifa, to my understanding, it's located in such a beautiful, iconic area of Dubai. And every time there is a show that's going on, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people watching, being there. And then also we also have to talking about the people that pull their phone, the influencers that pull their phone out and do a live there, and then also take video clips and share that with people. So talking about the exposure, it's humongous. It's crazy, right? So the next things that I wanted to also mention too, Michael, is in 2003 On Passive launch. What did we launch? We launched a giant sign that we are having that train stations, where in 2023 only have 1.3 million riders around 180 plus countries that actually go there. And that station, it's actually on the main road of Dubai. It is huge. Talking about the exposure, Michael.
Yeah, well, certainly you have a captive audience. Just going back to the Burj, I mean, you have that captive audience that you mentioned, for all those people present that's watching the light show. And yeah, you're absolutely right about people taking their videos and so on. You have YouTubers who are just talking about Dubai, nothing to do with On Passive, but just talking about Dubai. And you can see clips of our company logo. You can see clips of On Passive in these videos. And they're not intended for that particular YouTuber to be showcasing On Passive. But because On Passive is so widespread around that city, it's actually in these random videos. So again, more exposure for free, right? So again, it's just a brilliant idea. You have movie stars that show up in Dubai, and same thing. our branding, right? Our message, our logo. It's positioned in strategic places that even part of some of these interviews, you can see clips of On Passive in the background. So again, the company is just brilliant when it comes to marketing, Julie. And yes, in 2023, as opposed to 2003, um, we certainly did launch the train station, right? And that is huge to have a government approve such a project, such a task, to have your name, your company logo branded, all over that station and throughout the station, and to have the stop actually named after you. So not just the building, right? Not just inside, but the actual train station stop is called On Passive. And so think of how many times people are hearing that. Your next stop is On Passive. So On Passive, On Passive, On Passive. So again, it's very, very strategic and brilliant, Julie, how this company is going about branding itself. Because when you talk about 180 countries, these riders, these 1.3 million riders of the train, like think about that. That's pretty much all the countries in the world. Most people tell you there's like 195 countries, right? But there's over 200, right? In actual fact, right? But the point is, 180. That's the majority of them. That's a lot of countries. So you're getting that exposure to people from all over, and On Passive is at the forefront of all of that.
Absolutely. Talking about exposure is your name and your brand out there. We have to also mention that that there are 900 digital screens that actually come across around Dubai Mall and around Dubai also. And the next one coming up, Michael, we have to mention the fact that there are so many partnerships between On Passive and or other organizations, companies, or country around the world. We have to mention the partnership with Best Moments. We have to mention about the partnership with the supercar modulars, where in that company, in that club only, I mean, there's over 350 plus supercars, the owners of supercars, and those people who own those vehicles, a super car, they are the influencers. They have millions and millions of followers as well. So let's talk about Best Moment and supercar modulars first, and then we'll list the rest of them in a minute.
Sure. So again, On Passive is leaving no stone unturned, right? And so people have to get this. A lot of companies come out and they kind of stay in one space, right? On Passive says, you know what? We're doing things differently. We're not going to be the same old, right? We're going to be doing things in ways that other companies haven't even thought of, right? And so when you think of advertising, yeah, we know, companies put stuff on commercials. They'll have maybe a billboard, maybe even some flyers, through newspapers, et cetera, that goes door to door. But when we think of what On Passive is doing, this is massive. Like this is massive branding, right? And so to join yourself, to partner with, these entities, that's also brilliant from a social media standpoint. Having influencers, that is huge today, right? There are, some folks that are making millions of dollars just by influencing their audience, right? And so you want to be in that space as well. You want to be able to align yourself with people who have a massive reach. And that's what we're getting with Best Moments. When you think of the live shows that are being done, and On Passive is in partnership with those shows in itself. Again, more exposure, right? Think of a concert, and so here's a concert, and On Passive is one of the sponsors. Again, your name is being put in front of millions upon millions of people each year, and this is something that is different, right? When we talk about the supercar, Majlis, when you think of that group, that's an exclusive group. Like this is not they're not driving around in Honda Accords or Honda Civics or Toyota Corollas. You know what I
Okay.
mean? These are super cars. These are dream cars that people would love to have, but most can't afford them. And yet here we are seeing that on-passive logo on those vehicles as they go through various parades and what have you. That is just brilliant advertising, Julie. People like luxury. Okay, regardless of your situation, people, especially when it comes to cars, that's what people love. Again, it's one thing to love something; it's another to own it, right? But people always aspire to say, "Wow, if I won the lottery, I'd buy this dream car or whatever." These are the types of cars that we're talking about that are being driven, by these social influencers, and to have on passive in partnership with that. That just sends a really, really good message to that segment of the market, right? So best moment, that's one market. With the supercars, that's another market. That's just the on passive being exposed to so many around the world. And that's just going to send a lot of customers our way, Julie. Customers upon customers upon customers looking at what is on passive, what's on passive about. We're starting to see them all over the place. Who are these people, right? What is it that they do? What do they provide? Okay, and when they get to find out that we are a one-stop shop for anyone who wants to have an internet presence, for companies who want to save money, etc., they're gonna fall in love with what On Passive is all about because they're seeing it in a different way. It is something that is going to be at the forefront of their minds, right? Just because of the exposure, how they're exposed to it, right? As opposed to from the traditional avenues such as commercials and so on, right? So this is just another strategic move on the company's part to get us maximum exposure out there.
Absolutely, Michael. And I love the fact as we are looking at what Best Moments are doing, all of their events are actually focusing on all these prominent high-end location, and the people that participate or the performers in those events that they are organizing are actually the top in the entertainment industry from everywhere around the world, because Best Moment is the company that actually organizing those events, which is really huge. And another point I want to bring up too is the people that are in that supercar merger list, the people that owners of those gigantic super vehicles. I mean, some of these vehicles are talking about hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s, worth hundreds and hundreds of thousands, or even millions of dollars. And these people, I don't believe they do it to get the influence to earn money. They do it because of the joy and the vision of what On Passive is doing. It's not about driving a car, a supercar. It's about that vision behind it. And that's why they are part of, involving the non-passive. And proudly, I mean, when you look at these people, when they drive their supercar, they also wear the shirt that say On Passive on it proudly. So it's not just about having supercar, but the vision behind it. So I also want to bring up other partnerships that was happening in 2023 or prior to that in a global, more global, arena. Talk about Tag Deer Award, and then being partnership with Tag Deer Award, and talking about the Council of Emirates Businesswomen Conference that we are partnering with, and also talk about the partnering with the Arab Africa Investment Conference as well. These are relationships that On Passive have been developing, and now we are partnering with those companies or countries or organizations.
Yeah, again, Julie, all of these partnerships, sends a message that On Passive is real, right? That's what it sends. You don't have, these types of organizations aligning themselves with something that is fake. That's something that's just not real, right? Because it's important that people understand that On Passive is a real company with real people, real products, etc. It's important that people know this, right? So not because you can't walk into Walmart or whatever store and pick up on passive products at this time, it doesn't mean that it isn't real, right? So that's the message that I see. The biggest message that comes out from that is the fact that you have these prestigious organizations, you have governments aligning themselves upon passive. The World Women's Summit, to see that, here is an organization that's looking out for the welfare of women around the world. And they're aligning themselves with On Passive because On Passive believes in what their mission, what their vision is, and vice versa, right? It's a two-edged sword, right? It's not just a one-way partnership. It goes both ways, right? That if they didn't believe in what On Passive was doing, they would not align themselves with On Passive. And if On Passive didn't believe in what they're doing, On Passive wouldn't partner with them either. So you understand? So it goes both ways, right? And so when we see, more and more of these partnerships coming up, that is sending a strong message out there saying that On Passive is here to stay. On Passive is not a company that's just here today, gone tomorrow, right? We're talking about longevity because that's what you want in a partnership, right, Julie? When you partner with someone, like, you want to be there for as long as possible. You're not trying to get a partnership for 1 day or 1 month, right? And that's what the company is doing. To talk about social justice, and to have to recognize employees, for the good that they're doing. Like, all these things come together to send the right message that On Passive wants out there, right? And is that, yes, here we are here to help uplift humanity. We're not going anywhere. No one can stop us. Only God himself can, say, hey, no, you guys ain't going nowhere. Other than that, we're here to stay. And so people feel comfortable knowing that, Julie, knowing that, what, if I get involved on Passive, okay, are they going to be here 5 years from now? Yes, they are. They're going to be here 10 years from now? Yes, they are. It's a company that's going to be here for generations to come. So people are confident, people are proud, as you mentioned about, the supercar Majlis and those car owners and, wearing that logo on their shirt so proudly, right? That's what we're talking about. You want to be aligned with a company where you are so proud to spread that message, that you are willing to say, hey, yes, I am in On Passive. This is what On Passive is all about, right? And On Passive is here to help as many as possible right around the world. People who have never succeeded in their life have a realistic opportunity, a realistic chance to be able to do so in On Passive. And that's what all these partnerships is about, is to get that message out there, get the word out there, spread what On Passive is all about.
Absolutely, Michael. Well, we have talked a lot about the exposures, bringing it out to the world, but it takes mountains of people. It takes so many hours and people, talented people behind the scene in order to make all this happen. So let's talk about the amount of hours On Passive spend. I mean, I'm talking about work hours, okay? 400,000 plus work hours across 200 countries, okay, that's been spent on to make what On Passive is today. That was just only in 2023. All right. 25,000 plus hours focusing on coding, right? And there's also, if everyone paying attention, there's 11,000 plus website theme that On Passive is releasing out there to all of us. All right. 15,000 plus products designs, talking about the designs of the product, not 15,000 product, but the designs of the product. Right. And then what else? 500 plus blogs, editing blogs, writing blogs that are out there. And those blogs are so fantastic and so much knowledge in it. If we all just spent time in reading the blogs, it would be really awesome. Michael, there's a lot of work being spent behind the scene to make On Passive happen.
Yeah, absolutely, Julie. The company is putting everything together, right, from ground up, right, putting it all together before they come out. Instead of, well, let's just launch out to the public and let's, build along the way and no, the company says, no, let's put it all together. Let's make this a company that when you come in, you don't want to leave. When you come for a particular product, you're going to be satisfied. We're going to over deliver value to you so that you're not going anywhere, right? I can, I'm so confident, Julie, that when we think of some of the products that we have, such as O Connect, the video conferencing platform, when we think of that and when we think of the other companies that are out there in the marketplace, they're going to lose a lot of market share. There's no doubt about that. Why? Because of all the work, right? Some of these hours that you're talking about, all the work that goes into perfecting our product, right? To the point that when people have access to it, Julie, they don't need anything else, right? They don't need these other platforms because it's a one-stop shop with OnPassive. When we think of O Domain, people, again, if you want to have a presence on the internet, you have to have a domain name, right? You need a website, okay? So, hey, this is where I am. This is where I'm located. This is what I'm offering. This is what I'm presenting to the world, etc. Okay. And so, again, think of all the different providers that are out there that provide domain names. Okay. When OnPassive rolls that out to the public, guess what's going to happen? Again, a lot of these companies will lose market share simply because of the value that OnPassive will provide, right? And so that's important, right? So when we look and see all of these working hours, yeah, it's not, people are just not spinning their wheels or twiddling their fingers, Julie. Real work is being done to make sure that we are the best, that we are at the top, that we are coming out and we're going to provide as much value as possible, maximum value to the marketplace, because from the perspective of where is the company coming from? Is the company doing all of this from a revenue standpoint? Hey, we want to be gazillionaires? No, we want to be able to give people what they deserve. And that is the best possible product, best possible service that one can provide. And that's exactly what OnPassive is doing. Hence all these long hours that you've mentioned.
Wow. It's amazing how much people are dedicated to, behind the scene to build this entire and gigantic OnPassive. I also wanted to remind everyone that in 2003, we were participating in all of us outside was participating into, there's a lot, participating into the launch of our office in Egypt, in Cairo as well. And then in 2023, if you could remember, we did officially launch O Connect, right? O Connect and O Tracker. You've mentioned about O Connect. If you could imagine, there's over 250,000 plus webinars have already been conducted on O Connect. Not only that, there's another number that was really crazy. There's 100 corporate webinars were conducted in OnPassive last year. And then there's over 100 events that was happening. I forgot to mention when we were talking about event, there's over 100 events that was happening in the world regarding to OnPassive. Well, talk about how amazing it is. We also, OnPassive also introduced O Tracker to the world, where over 1 million users on 1.3 million's website. Talk about how crazy this is happening. And it is called OnPassive Saga. So if you really wanted to see this 5 minutes of OnPassive Saga that was just launched, and that video is only happening in 2023, right? What we have mentioning, it's happening every single day. There's something happen in OnPassive, and OnPassive only good news. What also happened in 2023 is that OnPassive has organized and awarded the winners. Do you remember the contest that the winners actually got awarded in cash prize? There's two things that I wanted to also mention. I wanted to leave it at on the bottom of the list because it's actually really huge. The first one I want to bring up, Michael, is that OnPassive was participate in the GITEC Summit in Dubai. And we won the best booth prize during that GITEC Summit. There are so many, participants, their speakers, that were there, and it's creating a huge buzz on internet as well, Michael.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about JITEC Summit.
Okay, I'm gonna get rid of these phones. Too many phones in here, Julie. I didn't know which one was ringing. Shutting off the wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, on passive just continues to amaze us. Like what's next? Where will on passive go next? Where would they take us next? And so 2023 was a year just filled with so much, Julie. I mean, just the working hours alone is more than enough to blow someone's mind. To think here is a company that's not fully out there to the public as yet, as far as selling its products. But to see that so much time, so much care, so much has been going on, it's just mind-boggling. And so here comes a massive summit, with JITEX, and for the company to be involved in that, number one. Number two, it was done over a 3-day period, right? So again, exposure, right? It's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of people coming in there, and for Unpassive to walk away with the best booth, again, that shows the care, the time, that is spent in putting everything together. We're not just throw a little thing together and here you go. No, it's always about perfection. It's all about how can we be the best version of whatever it is that we're showcasing, right? How can we put that forth to the public? And so that was displayed clearly with all the visitors popping up to Unpassive booth and taking a look at what we're all about. The company generating customers from that display, right, from that particular summit, and to walk away with that prize, again, just speak volumes of what Unpassive is all about. That's not a small, people can Google it. It's not a small tech show, Julie. It's one of the largest in the world, and so a lot of people, a lot of other great companies were present, and so, we won that prize over, really, really good companies. That says a lot, and we are the new kid on the block, so to speak, right? But Unpassive is not starting from the bottom. Unpassive is actually starting from the top. It's one top to the next stop to the next stop, always, because of what our mission is. It always goes back to our mission, Julie. It always goes back to what are we actually trying to accomplish? What does Unpassive want to do, right? And it's all about humanity. It's all about how can we help? How can we change people's lives in a positive way? How can we correct some of the corruption that's out there in the marketplace? How can we give people more bang for their buck when they purchase products and services, right? So it's all of that. And that can be seen anytime Unpassive steps on the scene. Anytime we open our doors, it's always about customers first, right? How can we give the customers the best possible experience? And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're showcasing. So Unpassive is here to stay, and more people will get involved. Millions upon millions of customers will come, and people will actually get to experience the Unpassive experience. That's probably a phrase that we can coin, Julie, the Unpassive experience. People will come just for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As we are discussing, things that are happening on passive, the hours that's been worked, the events that have happening, we have to also remember that everything that Unpassive is doing is to changing people's life, whether or not if they are in organizations and individuals, a country. But Unpassive always come down to the core of lifting up humanity. In 2023, based on what we know only, I'm very sure there are a lot of helping and donation charities functions that are out there from Unpassive. But what we know is in 2023, Unpassive have donated thousands of dollars to the Emirate Red Crescent through the Best Giving platform, which is Oh Bless. And that was a huge was it Syria that has that? Yeah. So it's always come down to the point of lifting up humanity. And just for the note of all of this huge number, so far as of this point, on passive has 6 million users, and 4 millions of those are new users in 2023. And if you are actually taking a look out there, there are 35 million viewers that know about On Passive, and over 50 million people already view things about On Passive, talking about the exposure, talking about the getting your name out there. On Passive is the only company that does that. And Mr. Ashmafar always say, the world will know your name. The world will know your name. And when he talked about the world will know your name, not about Julie Nguyen or Michael William or Susie McCray or, not that kind of name. We're talking about a digital. We're talking about the identity. And so I'm going to move forward to another topic, Michael. Over the last week, he had mentioned about the being accredited to an organization called ICANN. And if you have a chance to actually look it up, ICANN is an organization that only accredited to probably a few thousand around the entire world. And according to what Mr. Mufara said the other day, is that it takes a lot of work, time, and also, I guess, what do you call it, to go through certain parts in order to become accredited. And it's a huge milestone in On Passive. Now, he also talking about AI cloud computing, that right now we run all the products, everything of On Passive in our own AI AI cloud computing. I have so many things I want to say.
Tongue twister today.
Yeah, it is. So it's huge, but the question is, and this is only based on our own understanding, is why? Why does On Passive outdoing itself?
Well, again, the company fully believes that millions upon millions will come, Julie. So you have to be able to have the capability to accommodate such. It's not an easy task. We've seen even your own personal internet, for example, right? Sometimes we're okay. Why is it so slow? A lot of the times it's because the amount of users, the amount of people that are actually using that particular service at that particular time, and so it slows down, right? So again, I'm always home, so I can see the difference. Even though we have a pretty fast service, I still can see the difference once evening comes and more people are at home. There's a difference versus in the daytime where there's not as many people are at home. Kids are at school, parents are at work, etc. So you can see the difference in that. So when it comes to On Passive getting ready for the market, right? We're not just getting ready for 1 million customers, as you mentioned, Julie. We already have 6 million, right? So we're not trying to get rid. We're trying to get rid of what if 1 billion customers come? Like, you don't know, right? As a company, you really don't know. You can have projections and all of that stuff, but you never know until you actually put it out there, right? So you want to be prepared. You want to be able to make sure that you can accommodate if you have a lot of users at one time using a particular product, such as O Connect as an example. You want to be able to accommodate them, right? We've been on other platforms where as soon as it reaches 15,000, you start to have a whole bunch of issues, right? Because they're not built to accommodate so many users at once, right? So it's important to be able to accommodate all of that. And that's exactly what On Passive is doing. We talked about On Passive putting everything together up front, not on the back end, not come out and, we can't accommodate 10,000 people using O Connect. So, we need to go and fix it and upgrade it and all these things. No, On Passive right now, you can come in. 10,000 is not an issue, Julie. 10,000 people can be. We just had 10,000 the other day on a corporate webinar, right? So just shy of 10,000 to be more accurate, right? So it's important, right? Okay, here comes an updated version. Now we can accommodate 100,000 on a live webinar, Julie. So, that's what the company is doing. The ICANN, um, uh, being accredited with that organization, that speaks volumes, right? Everyone has to have, as I said earlier, you have to have a domain name if you want any type of presence. And so, what better way than to be able to offer that service, offer that product to customers? And that, yes, here you can have it. We can host it for you. If you have an existing domain name and you want to forward that over, yes, because we're an actual registrar, right? So it's a very, very big deal, Julie. That's we're talking about real estate now. We always talk about location, location, location. Your domain name, that's what that is. That is your digital real estate, and so, that is something that you must have. If you want to have everything single sign on, one stop shop, if you want to have that, that is something that is a must. It's not a want, it is a must. You have to have that. And so now we can boldly say that, yes, we're in that position. So this company is going just leaps and bounds. Everything has come together just as the company intended to do, Julie. But yes, it does take time. We couldn't have done this, 3 years ago, right? It takes time to put all the pieces together, and we're seeing it right before our eyes. We've been along here. We've been here for the journey. We're able to see all of this unfold. So imagine where we'll be 5 years from now, right? Can you imagine, right? So, this company is doing exactly what it set out to do, right? We're seeing it, and we certainly know that, we're going to be around for a very, very long time because of all these options that people will have. If they come, Julie, and they don't want O Connect, that's okay. Not every single person wants to have a audio video conferencing platform. Maybe they don't have a use for it, maybe, right? But there's something else. There's O Tracker. Oh, well, maybe they don't want O Tracker. Not a problem. There's O Domain. Or maybe they don't want, there's O Skill, and so on and so forth, right? So the company is doing exactly what it set out to be, and that is to reinvent the internet, the future of internet. That's what OnPassive is.
Absolutely. When you're talking about the digital the identity, the domain, I would like to take this time to give an analogy. And I hope that this analogy will actually help everyone who's listened a little bit more. I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, I did, I told a story about owning your own supermarket, right? And at that time, I used a supermarket because I've only know that much at that time. This is about a couple years ago, right? And now, giving the fact of what we know so far, I use this analogy to hopefully help myself and help others. So I actually want you to right now, if you're watching this, imagine yourself wherever you are in your own location. There is one particular location that you actually can have your 5 stars or 5 class super mall. Okay. In this mall, has multi locations, multi levels, and it has hundreds and hundreds of high end brand name shops, right? Imagine that. Now, it takes time to build that mall, that 5 stars mall, right? It takes time to put in the merchant, the people that owns those individual stores, the merchandise. It takes time to do that, and it could cost millions and millions of dollars to build that for that mall from A to Z. Now, if you are in OnPassive, right? If you register for a free account, you only put a toe in the water to see what it's like, to see the infrastructure, to see the process of it. Now, the mall is completely built. Everything is in its place. There's foot traffic coming in, day out, and you start making money with this mall. So imagine if you have a free, just your toe in a free account, or we call it a free position, whatever you call that. You don't have a customer yet. You don't have a business yet. Now, imagine if you have a chance to actually be the owner of this 5 stars mall with all the shops and all that all in one place for you. And you didn't spend the money to build it, but you get a chance to actually own it. So you have to take that position and turn that into a business, right? To activate, to participate in it. You still have to come out to the mall and check to see how's everyone's doing, how's the things going. And also, if you love some of the stores there, you still have to go out there and bought those products for yourself. And so take that beautiful mall that you have imagined, take that and take that in a digital world, put that in, and that is on passive. And that is what you have. You have to turn that into a business, and you have to participate doing the work that you can in it. So to my understanding, that digital, that identity, that domain name that Mr. Ashmufar said is the digital footprint for our business. And every one of us can have that. It takes a little work on our end to do that, but it takes a lot of work for the people behind the scene to actually build that. Michael?
Yeah, that mall has many floors. Okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna say
Levels.
many floors, not multi levels.
Yeah, sorry. Many levels.
I know what you mean, but I know people will listening to this and says, "Oh, okay, no, many floors, multiple floors, okay, inside there, inside that mall, okay, which simply means that you have different businesses, different products are sold on floor 1, floor 2, maybe that's 3 floors, let's say, and so you have different products that are being sold there. But you're absolutely right, Julie. I've said this many times that for me, I have to buy from so many different providers, right? Everything that I use, on a day-to-day basis on the internet, I have to get from so many different places. So that's a lot of, I have a sheet, Julie, with all, username, password. It's a lot that I have to keep logging here, sign out of that one, log in there. It is a lot, and it's time consuming. So to be able to just go one place, log into one place, and have everything that I need to run my business, that's just perfect, right? And it saves me a lot of money, Julie. If people understand the true cost of products that are out there, if you're in that market, if you're in that space where you're using some of these products, then it costs a lot of money to run a digital business. It's not $10 a month. It's not $20 a month. It costs a lot of money. One tool that I use, Julie, cost me $300 a month just for the one tool. Okay. That's just one, right? I have a lot of domain names. Again, I pay a lot of money for that as well. Traffic for my business. Okay. Again, if you want to be successful, you have to get traffic from multiple places, hundreds of places even. Okay. Not just 1 or 2 places, right? If you really want to make it a full-time occupation, a full-time career, where the money that you're generating can pay all your bills, etc., can take care of your household. Okay, these are things that you have to do, folks. Okay, no different than if you have a brick and mortar business. Okay, you got to pay for electricity, hydro, a phone, all that. Pay rent for the building, all these things. It costs money. Okay, so running a business on the internet is the same thing. But if you have a company that can produce these products, okay, and sell it for more cost-effective prices, it makes a difference, Julie. Companies will save a lot of money just by getting into on passive. If nothing else, just the cost savings. Companies will come, individuals will come, Julie, because they're running their small home-based business, etc. And a lot of the tools, a lot of the products that they'll be able to get from on passive is going to be cost-effective for them. So it only makes sense, right? And so why would you want to log into 5, 6, 7, 8 different websites if all you have to do is just go to one place? So it makes I'm the type of person, Julie. I mean, I know some people like to go to, like, a whole bunch of different stores. I'm that one shop kind of guy. I just bring me into that one store and just buy whatever I need. I don't need to go to 5, 6 different grocery stores to go get everything. I just go one place and I do whatever price it since I just buy it, boom, and I'm out the door. Done. Right? The same goes for if I'm buying clothing. I go to one place, I'm good to go. I don't want to go to 5, 6 different shops. You know what I mean? And so the same for our business. So here in On Passive, people have that opportunity to have that one-stop shop experience, right? The On Passive experience, Julie. And so, we're just in great shape. There's no doubt about it. 2024, yes. It's going to be awesome for so many people around the world.
It's going to be amazing year for everyone around the world, not just any individuals, because of On Passive. So, anything else? Anything else you want to bring up, Michael? I think we've listed many things that are happening, but that's just not some. There is so much more.
Well, these are, like you said, these are things that we know. These are not wishful thinking.
Yeah.
These are things that we know, and for those who've been paying attention, for those who've been keeping up, they will also know these things. The bottom line is that we've made a very wise decision to be involved in On Passive. Some people don't get it, Julie, and that's okay. That stands to reason for just about anything. You know what I mean? I've been in companies where some people just didn't get it and walked away because they didn't get it. They didn't understand. On Passive is not different from that, in that you can have some folks who just don't get it. Some people think, oh, I just throw some money in, I'm going to be a millionaire overnight. Like, really? You can't even do that with the lottery, Julie. You know what I mean? The point is that it's a real business. And so because it's a real business, there's real principles in play, right? There's processes you have to go through. If you want to be a company that's going to be here for generations to come, then you want to make sure that you're compliant in all the jurisdictions that you operate in, and so on. There's so much to On Passive. We just barely scratched the surface, Julie, because you're right. There is a lot more, but that should suffice for today. But the bottom line is that, yeah, if you want to be a winner, On Passive is the place for you.
Absolutely. And so that's what we know. And we all should focus on what we know, right? Instead of making predictions or speculating and all that stuff. Let's focus on what we know. So everyone, Michael and I have decided to do this. Okay. So starting from next week at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we will be holding a Q&A in our O Connect. Okay. Then this is how we are holding that meeting. I know I talked with Michael a little bit. Well, you have a chance to actually submit your question prior to that session. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold 1 hour rapid fire questions, which I'm going to go through the list and I will see which question would be appropriate to that topic, however it is, or the questions that need to address. We're going to address those questions in that session. So we're going to do a 1 hour on O Connect. And then after that hour with O Connect, we're going to have this live that we always do on a Monday. Okay, so that's going to starting to happen on Monday. Please look forward to some of the informations that I'll share with you. Or if you have questions and you haven't heard anyone addressed about it, more than welcome to send them to me, and then I'll send back what needs to be done. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing on Monday, an hour prior to our live, and then we go live right after that. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. God bless you and continue to enjoy 2024. We are in it to win together. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here.
Sure, absolutely. And just a quick message to Chris Johnson. Keep your eyes on the road and stay safe, my friend.
That's right. I agree with Michael. Take care, everyone.